and you can see that. Like a lot of artists, I think, respond directly to like what they're doing physically with their hand and more of the material. So it's like a opposite approach.
Yeah,
But
lately I've paint my way of thinking is a little bit clinically maybe, but actually actually my wife, who is also a painter, and she paints humans and portraits and all of it, and that made me be more appreciative of these old master paintings. And then I actually thought, like, what is most powerful about painting is just be emotionally gripped by it. So I try to be less clinical about
or
it.
maybe not clinical, but you know what I mean. It's not like you just like stand in front of the canvas and you're like seeing what happens.
No,
Yeah.
that's
Right,
I
you're
did. Well, I
talking
did
about-
explore that once with one series.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I work in those series. Then I can explore many things, and I keep it contained in a series with like a head and a tail and a coherent
Yes, yeah.
thing. But then I can jump to another
I'm fascinated by that
fascination
process.
by me and try to reinvent.
Yeah,
me.
because especially you get
Mhm.
the first piece down, and now there's kind of a structure. And now you can go crazy inside the idea.
Yeah, so I
So the
contain
next
it,
one can,
and then I try to make that as good as I can. But then I try to break. I leave it behind.
yeah.
Hopefully, once it is a well-rounded, coherent thing, then I try to explore a new thing, because I've always well, I don't know about all of what life is about and all these things, but there are many
You
interesting
could help me
things.
out. You can help me.
No, but if you want to do something good, you have to leave a lot. You cannot do only one thing at a time a little bit. But I've always been fascinated with so many subject matter and styles that and as a painter, you can explore these things. So the best way for me to do it was to work in those series where I for a while leave all the other ideas and fascinations outside and focus on one thing, and then once that is done, I can jump to another style. So it's basically like like an actor can make in a
Yeah.
film. He can play a medieval warrior or monk in one film, and the next film he plays a futuristic world, totally different. And I like that too, with how that's a little bit similar to how I approach my work. And a film, like with film directors, they can make films that take place in many different time periods, or drama or romantic or horror. Like some filmmakers explore all these
Right.
genres, and I like that a lot with my paintings. But to keep it consistent, I have to.
Yeah. They're still recognizable. I
Yeah.
forget who I was talking to one night, but they were like, aren't you worried that Robert's work is all too different, that collectors are not going to be able to recognize his work? And I was like, I've never thought about this, but
That's interesting.
so it feels in that way, it's almost like, a little bit punk, maybe. Because that was someone's first thought.
I have my own thoughts and ways, and I'm
Because of a break of expectation.
well, I tried.
That's why
Yeah.
it's a little punk.
Well, because
I listen
You-
to that, and if people like to come in that world and explore these things, then you, of
Right.
course, most welcome.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
hey, they're talking, right?
but
That's it.
I don't like to become sort of a brand as an artist. I like to explore, and I myself feel always very gravitated to
Is that
whether
hard,
it
though?
is philosophers or writers or filmmakers or musicians that are very explorative.
What was
And
it?
then I like to be surprised, like, hey, what's he gonna come up next?
Yeah, no.
And maybe people don't like one thing and like the next thing, and then they just have to wait until that's done, and then they maybe can say, hey, yeah, then we like that again.
But there's a lot of pressure when you make something and people like it, like the canine series or whatever. There's not any pressure on you, like whichever one of those was most popular. There's no pressure to be like, I'm doing what looks like that again. That's what a lot of people do. So there's a lot of pressure to not repeat yourself, isn't there? Like people kind of want what they've seen before sometimes.
Well, I am not completely rigidly attached to my own. Those dogs were a little bit popular, so I made
Right.
a few more of them. That's not a problem.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
But at some point, I want to go on and go to the next thing and explore things
Mhm.
from scratch again.
Yeah.